Hey guys, your boy Chef Indian here again, cooking with Indian, and happy rum month, happy rum day. With that being said, today's recipe is going to be incorporating a little bit of Angostura 7. So if you're interested, check me out. Alright guys, so the name of this recipe here is called Cartola. I think I have that right, Cartola, right? So the first thing that we need, which is vital to this, is our bananas. So we start with the banana here, right? So peeling them out first, and then we're gonna cut them. I came across this recipe while I was on internship in Brazil back in 2013. Was finishing up my associate's degree through TTHTI, and we went to do an internship at Inhotel Hotel in Pernambuco. Now this recipe here is native to Pernambuco and Recife, and there are not many people who know about this recipe because it's not a Brazilian recipe, it's a Pernambucano recipe basically. Alright, so we go in half through the center, and then we go in half again. So basically it's quarters that we cut in. So we discovered this dessert while we were in Brazil. I think the only other person who knew about this dessert, who found out about it with me at the same time, was my boy Kernos, one of the bosses at the hotel who was very close to us. Kern used to call him my Brazilian dad, Jose Antonio. He took us out for lunch one day, and this was one of the desserts at the restaurant that we went to. And for the entire time that we were there, we never saw it, we never heard about it. And even after he made us try it, we never saw it anywhere else. It wasn't even serving at the hotel that we were working. But it really stuck out to us, and I've never forgotten it. Probably because I was so close to Jose Antonio too. It was a real cool day that we had. So you know, it's one of those memories that you'll have that will linger with you. And we're going to be using just about a quarter cup of Angostura 7. And why we're going to be using this is because of the flavor profile of the Angostura 7, which includes notes of toffee, chocolate, spice, which will definitely pair well with this dessert in particular. Right, so our next step is we're going to be lightly cooking our bananas. So we have a pan that's here on the heat. Just going to use a little bit of butter. Heat could be about medium high. There we have our oven preheated, because that's going to be the next step. So we just melting our butter here, and then we're going to go in with our banana. So what we want to do is we want to just get the banana slightly brown on either side, and then we're going to put them into a cooking dish, a baking dish, sorry. Alright, so there we have a nice little bubble. So the next part is we actually going to flambe the bananas with the rum. So what flambeing is, you add alcohol to something and you let it burn off quickly, which leaves basically the essence of the flavor of the rum itself into this, right? So guys, be very careful when you're doing this. And you just leave it. The heat is going to cook off all of the alcohol that there is in there, and it's going to leave a really intense rum caramel flavor. It's also going to act as a deglazing of the pan of all the bits. As you could see, the banana was a bit destroyed by the heat, or a little mushy because of the heat. So it's going to deglaze the pan, it's going to deglaze all the butter inside of the pan as well, and create something like a faux caramel. And that's going to add a lot of really rich flavors into this. So we could turn off our heat now and just leave that to settle for a bit, and then we're going to transfer it to the baking dish. Right, so as you could see, we have our flambéed bananas in the dish, and we are going to step into the assembly part, right? So the first part of the assembly is going to be the one that scratches your head. Why I say that is because we're going to be using shredded mozzarella. So you're going to be thinking, what? Shredded mozzarella? Why? I don't know why, but that's the recipe. However, in terms of the balance of flavor and texture, the mozzarella is really, really nice because you get that slight salty flavor of the cheese, you get a little stretch. It also makes a really, really, really delicious aroma. And trust me, it's only until you try it is then you'd understand it. So we're gonna cover all these bananas here with some shredded mozzarella cheese. If you want, you could probably grease or spray the dish if you want before, but bananas don't really tend to stick to it anyway, so it's fine. Shouldn't cause you too much trouble removing it after we bake it. And as soon as we finish covering this with shredded mozzarella, we are going to top it with some cinnamon sugar. So that's the other element. Adds a whole different flavor profile to this. But if you notice all the different flavors that you're getting so far, they all meld together really well. You rum with the caramel, toffee notes, chocolate type of thing, cinnamon, sugar, the mozzarella cheese, the bananas. Alright, that looks like about enough. Yeah. And now we are going to go into our preheated oven that was preheated at 360, and we're going to just leave it in there for a couple minutes until it melts really nicely. The sugar, you know, gets a little caramel, it melts a bit, and we will be coming out after that, and you will see where we go. Alright, so here's a shot of our finally fully baked cartola. All the cheese is properly melted, it's a little brown, and it looks really nice and decadent. So now to plate. The first thing we want to do is prepare our whipped cream. So what we're going to do is put it into our piping bag. So as you can see, I have my piping bag in just a coffee jar, just to make life easy for me putting the whipped cream into it. Easy technique, simple, keep your both hands free. And we just load up that sucker like so. And we are ready to go. So that's that. Right, so basically to make whipped cream, for this recipe we particularly use about 200 milliliters of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, not cooking cream, heavy whipping cream, and about 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. So you're going to whip it until you start to see it slightly stiffening, and as soon as it starts to thicken up, you add your icing sugar half at a time. So you put in half, continue whipping, and once you get stiff peaks, then you're going to add the remainder and you give it a quick whip, and just make sure you have stiff peaks like this, and you could put it back into the refrigerator until it's time to use. Alright, so here we go. So you can see the cheese is nice and stretchy. Right, and we go in with our whipped cream. Nice. Add a little bit of toasted pecans on top. It's a little bit more texture you're gonna get out of that there. And I'm gonna add a little bit of strawberries as well. Right, and finally just to taste it. A little bit of everything here. Perfection. So we have our flambéed banana, we have our slight saltiness from the mozzarella, the little stretch texture, we have our toasted pecans, we have lightly sweetened whipped cream, which is not too overpowering, but it lends a bit of a nice lightness to the whole element. We have strawberries, which is a classic pairing of strawberries and bananas. We have the caramel that comes through from the flambeing of the bananas with the Angostura 7. And trust me guys, you're gonna wanna try this recipe out. So with that being said, once again, happy rum day, happy rum month. Angostura 7, try it on the rocks or try it in this dessert. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share, and check me out again next time. Chef Indian, we out.